Hello. Okay. This time I'm reusing the stream key from last time. So actually, even though I said that at this point I would not worry about checking every time, I am still gonna check. Yeah, that works. Okay. So I have made a terrible discovery. For one thing, yeah, I fixed the whatchamacallit, level editor. This works now, by the way. It's amazing. I mean, look at this. We have all the dungeon levels. Just 5, which is not as many as I thought. I'm not sure. I don't think all of these are actually used. Anyway, we have... Actually, I should delete these ones, because you can delete layouts too now. So Wall of Pawns, I'll delete that one, because I've already actually got it. I've just renamed it. So I'll just delete the ones which I've already resaved. There we are. So this is our slightly smaller list. And these are all the ones which actually get put into the game. So I was having a little look at this. In fact, I was testing it, as you gotta do. And hold on, I was just testing it. Here we are. And I went into the dungeon world to see if it loaded the layouts. And yeah, it loads the layouts really well. But look at that. Did you see that? Did you see that? So, we have a huge issue. A terrible problem. Look at this. Look at this. This is not what's supposed to be happening. For one thing, they're all heading up to the corner of the map. Why are they doing that? What did I change that made them start doing this? I couldn't even imagine. Lots of moving null piece, moving from unoccupied places. The board is a mess. These guys are absolutely all over the place. Something's gone wrong. Something's gone catastrophically wrong. And I really do mean catastrophically wrong, because this is not a good issue to have. However, I do have to fix it. One of the things I was thinking of that might be the cause of the issue, and I don't think this is actually the cause of the issue, to be fair. I think we have multiple issues going on here. For one thing, I was doing a bit of fuzzing on the movement speed, because they were kind of moving at the same time and overlapping each other. So it's a bit of a hack just to add like a 0.1 seconds, a random amount either side. But I took that out because I wanted to be more precise with the movement speed. And it is only a hack. But now we have this issue, and there's something else is going on here as well. The pathfinding has been getting progressively worse as time goes on. I'm not sure why it's always pointing to this little corner. But it is. Actually, I can't even click on these guys anymore. So something has happened, because I should be able to... Oh wait, no, I actually did take that out. So that's not a bug, that was intentional behavior. I just have to put that back in. It's kind of piling up my to-do list. I should write some of this down, but I'm not gonna get too worried. But anyway, this part we need to fix, like, urgently. really urgently. And it happens, I believe, in every map. I mean, look at this. First of all, they may end up... Okay, that was quite painless. Something happened there. Yeah, something happened there. See, it's not good. So we need... did you see that? Now look at this. That shouldn't be happening. That should not be happening. And the king always goes up to that corner as well. So this is a huge issue. This is a seriously big problem because you're just losing pieces because they're all chomping on each other. This is not good. This is really, really bad. You don't want this. So, frankly, I'm not even sure how to start debugging this. I'm thinking I'm gonna have to redesign the board logic. That's the only way through this. It's the only thing that I can do at this point. I mean, I should have done this a while ago, but it's surprisingly difficult to implement a board. I mean, you really wouldn't think so, but it actually is. Come on, this guy should be able to look ahead as well, so something is just not right here. And you can see all this spam in the chat. Moving null piece, moving null piece, moving null piece. Moving from an unoccupied place. It just doesn't make any sense. It does not make sense. I've thought about completely doing away with the grid system. So there's no longer any map. That's a bit of a pain though. And having it in a grid does make it more efficient for the AI and stuff. I mean, that guy should have just taken the pawn. Look, right there. It should have happened. The fact that he's not is also unintended behavior. And that shouldn't be happening either. So this pawn is here, but it's not actually attached to the grid, perhaps. But the really weird thing is why this only started recently. Because I must have changed something that made it start acting like this. And it couldn't possibly just be the movement speed. I mean, the movement speed thing can cause pieces to get unbound from the grid. So it could just be that. But I just feel like it's not only that. I don't know what it is. Well, I can't actually win this game because this guy is no longer in the grid, so he can't be captured. So this is definitely a new bug, and it's a big problem. But I am gonna fix it. I mean, I've got to. I really have no choice because otherwise the game is literally unplayable. Okay. So, I had a few ideas for this. In general, I think linearizing the set of moves on the board would be a really good idea. I think that would automatically reduce a lot of these issues. If it is just a movement speed issue, that guy just spontaneous, because he was attached to the grid at a different position, possibly, and allies can't pathfind to that because they think he's here, but he's actually up here, but just happened to move over it. That's what I think. Anyway, I had a similar issue when I was doing a notifications system, and the little text pop-ups would all get overlaid because they were spawning at literally the same time, or in the same process frame or whatever it is. But if I took each of these moves and I put it into a queue, and the board just one at a time enforced the order, it would prevent this stuff from happening. I think that would make sense. It could also introduce a lot of other bugs, but surely less than less than what we have. And the really tricky thing is, I'm not completely sure how to structure that kind of queue. Because for notifications, it's really easy. You just kind of have the a little piece of text that pops up, and that's very easy. But and yeah, what are they doing? They're all going up to the top left. It's just not good. And that's a bit weird because this is an issue which only happens in the dungeon world. So as I said, there are multiple concurrent problems that we have. I'm not sure what's going to fix this or why they're doing it. But I don't think that was happening in the safe world, because they were just going everywhere. Here they were just all over the place. But only on the dungeon world, they're always going to this point. They're still overlapping, but still. Wait, no, they are. Or maybe that was a coincidence. It looks like they actually are. Okay. That would have been a way worse bug, so I can live with that. It still could be mediated by the movement speed thing. I mean, ultimately, I don't want to restrict the game too much. If you have like abilities that damage other pieces out of a turn, that's fine, that's allowed, but that's something which could potentially interfere with the queue. Obviously I would just set it so that if you're trying to move in the queue a piece which has been destroyed, just don't move it, let it get destroyed. However, that's a really big issue. But ultimately a move is, I mean, we have in the board is going to be the thing that has the queue. We have the pieces map, and we have this move piece from 2, because that's all it is. I think something that would be useful that is not here, which might actually be part of the issue, is to have a reference to the piece that's actually being moved. You can see this is where all these errors are coming. So from is null. Moving from places which are not even in the pieces map. I mean, I don't know how that happens. Which makes me worry it's actually in the behaviors. But what's actually in the behaviors, if I look at king, is not that crazy really. So process, nothing happens. We have, I believe, a timer. Is it a timer? take a look at chess piece base. Yeah, move timeout. So this is where the move gets called. And we go here to move. And all that does is it goes to the behavior and it says move. So this is what gets run. And all this is really doing, it's not actually moving the piece. I mean, it is, but it's selecting a preference for a move. It's finding where it can move and doing all that. So you can see there's quite a lot of logic here, which is specified by the behavior rather than the board. I'm not sure if that's a good thing. So for example, if you're trying to move somewhere that you're not allowed to move, instead of the board catching this and saying, no, this move is invalid, the behavior has to capture it. It would be more sensible for the board to capture this. I think the board actually does capture this, but it's just also caught here because otherwise the rest of this is a waste. Maybe it's a prerequisite for this one. But then this one should also be asking this. Let me have a look to see what the board is actually asking. Yeah, so it does capture it. So really what I want is, I want less to be happening in here. Much less. Much less. I'm not even sure if I want the tween to be happening in here. I really want the board to be the one moving these pieces, because the board is the one that has to coordinate all of these. So what we have here is finding out the preference. And that's just finding the preferable move, and here is what actually fires it off. The interesting thing is that without this tween, it looks like the piece actually would never move. So I should really... I mean, my god, how far do I want to go with remaking all of this? It would be way better if I did, and it would be better if I do it now, rather than wait until I've added even more pieces. I have like 8 or 9 pieces right now. That's already kind of a pain, but I mean, this function, I believe, is identical in every single one of these behaviors. So I should reduce I should edit this just for the code redundancy aspect. There are certain things like so I wouldn't be okay. So checkers, for instance, is doing it this way. It doesn't need to do it this way. It could be, like I said, pieces which damage each other out of turn. So I could refactor. I think this would be the only really atypical one. This guy doesn't move full stop, so doesn't bother. Yeah, there you go. So it just never actually moves. This one, normal, typical, identical. I already looked at this guy. This is not used. Again, looks identical. Not sure why this lightning PNG is in here. That looks identical too. Do all of these have that? Yeah, they do all have dodge. Yep, identical. Looks identical. So all of these are pretty much the same. That is not gonna move. So they all have this kind of redundant code. The only different one is the king. What am I saying? Checkers, which jumps over. But I don't have. I can implement that in a different way, to be honest. I don't have to make it on the level of movement. I could do a jump, and if it moves successfully, do a point damage to the target, something like that. I think I can do that, I'm not sure. Looking at it now. So this is just an alternate thing that it can do. So I might leave this one as it is. I don't have to change it if I don't want to. But the important thing is I want to put all of these moves into a queue, because it's all happening at once. You get some really bad, unstable behavior, as I have seen. As well, I might want to be handling more of this stuff in the board. I see no particular reason why. The board is moving the piece, but then the piece is moving itself too. It's kind of like a decoupled data and visual. It has no reason to be that way. All this is again stuff which the board can handle if you try to move somewhere. The only I should just be doing this in the board. So I'll try to refactor it. I'll start off with the king and the pawns would be the minimum to set up this new version. When the board is moving and the piece is moving as well. I hope the board isn't moving. The board better stay still, to be honest. If the board starts moving, I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna delete the file. I'm gonna cancel the Git repository. I'm gonna delete my GitLab account. I'm not prepared for the board to start moving. I guess you didn't see the horribly unstable behavior which I've been up against. I'll show you really quickly exactly what I've discovered. So this works. Layouts are all working well, assuming I don't lose all my pieces. I'll have a look at that. They just move inside each other, and that one disappears for no reason. And now they're all up here. They're going to the top left corner. They're overlapping each other. They're not taking pieces when they should be taking pieces. It looks alright actually not as bad as it was before, but it is quite bad, and obviously you can't have any of that in the game, so I'm looking at refactoring this. So essentially, I'm just gonna, do I have any, I don't really have anything much here. Okay, I will anyway, for the sake of it. And then I'll get to work with this code. So I think the first thing is I'm not going to need this, because this is already being caught by this function. And this function, I think, is pretty much the only thing that we actually need. We have moved tile, which would wrap maybe a few things. Really, I want to do as much of this in the board as I can, so I'm going to pass a reference to the piece itself. Oh yeah, so I set that to a default value so it doesn't crash the game, but really I always want that to be passed. So that's the only occurrence of that. This really I want to put all of this into the board. This also I don't really see, I mean, I'll keep this. I'm not sure what it actually does though. It might be used by something else. So I will do that. This I should definitely move. This tween I also would like to move. This I would like to move. And I would have to override this for the checkers piece, which is fine. But the checkers piece would never actually try to move to a piece or to a tile with a piece in it, only with a piece nearby. So I could put this in and it would still be completely functional. Okay, so what are we actually doing in this board then? So we are catching this, we are catching this. This is where I would put the damage behavior. This is where I would do it, assuming everything's been working well. That's great. I have absolutely no idea what this signal is. Okay. Looks like things do connect this signal. Move happened. Nothing. Okay, that's fine then. Nothing. Okay. Okay, that's all good. This is gonna be so difficult. I don't want to do it, but I have to. It's a Friday night. I got my coffee. What more do you want? What more can you have, quite frankly? Okay. So here is the sort of the data structure part, the important bit. Obviously this only happens in certain circumstances. Right now it's kind of bifurcated a bit, so you have the attacking part, and then only if it attacks would it actually move the piece. I don't want it to do that. I want it to try to move the piece no matter what, and it'll only actually end up with the piece being there if it moves successfully. So that'll be a good example. This is not going to be easy. Okay. And in fact, I'm going to be putting this into a queue at some point, but I'm not going to even think about that for now, because this is the part that's more important. We need to refactor this before I want to put it into a queue. How am I doing? I'm doing pretty well, actually. I have loads going on. I'm really busy. I'm full-time studying at the same time. Apart from that, I'm alright. I'm studying microbiology and the gut microbiome. I have mass spectrometry on Monday. How are you doing, Eric? I don't think I've asked you either. Are you still doing a programming in your job? I got quite lucky. I'm doing bioinformatics. Time is very rare, and it keeps getting more rare. I mean, I do like it. You know, it's good when you can spend your time doing stuff that you like, and the fact is, it's very nice to be busy with stuff that you like. So, honestly, my job satisfaction is through the roof, and evidently I have just a little bit of time to be doing some game development on the side, so really couldn't be better. Quitting and going solo game dev. That's gotta be dangerous, though. I mean, if you have the development skills, that's gonna help. You do gotta make sure you have the peers and the people who are very industry knowledgeable to help you. You know, you can't really do solo game development. I don't think. I don't think it's actually possible. Maybe it's been done a couple of times, but I don't think it ever happens. I think the only times when it does happen is when one person makes something with an unprecedented level of success, and then you hear about it. But I think those are the only times that it actually works is when you hear about it. I'm going live and coding, as in coding on a live stream. Who would do something like that? Yeah, making small games to start off is a good idea. I mean, making small games in general is quite good. I think if you want to be doing an industrial game development thing, you want to be making money off of it, you just have to make small games if you're the only person doing it. Quantity over quality is kind of a thing for making money. And that's kind of the thing you have to wonder. Do you wanna do solo game development, or do you want to earn money with game development? Because those are different things. I've accepted I'm never going to make money with game development. Don't really want to. I want to do actual game development. And in Italy, the game dev industry is the desert. It seems like that's just the case everywhere, except in like California or something, or one of these places where they have all the tech companies. I live in South Wales. There's no game development here. The nearest companies are in England. And you know, there's a lot in England, but not so much in Wales. But the good thing about the internet is that you can still connect with people everywhere. So this is looking at the piece, and it's seeing all this if statement is asking whether the piece is strong enough to take a non-fatal punch. And if it does all this stuff, which is basically just a tween, which is genuinely just a tween by the looks of it. And then it binds attack piece. And this is the part which moves the player back. Unless it gets resisted. And if the piece exists, do some damage. So this is a bit of a weird thing. The piece is moving itself in two parts because I wanted to synchronize it with sort of the middle part of the tween. So you move in, you deal the damage, and you move back out. So it's got to be two tweens, I think. And you want to make money, but you need some solo dev to show off for the portfolio. I mean, yeah, 100%. So what I could do, I don't know if it's a good idea to move this into the board, because the piece is going to have to move itself back. And that's not something which is actually going to be problematic at all, I don't think. Do these guys even have collision? I kind of think they don't. They do technically have collision, but it doesn't look like it's ever actually used. It must be used for something, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure what. So I think probably I would leave this where it is. Probably. Yeah. You can chain tweens though, can't you? Can you? Maybe the front pawn tries to get outside the board and free its cell. The other pawn behind sees front cell free and they overlap. Yeah, these are the kind of issues which I've been getting. So this is kind of why I have to do the refactoring this part. How the pieces move around and interact with the board. I'm thinking I'll put the moves into a queue, because if I enforce that they happen one at a time, even if it's calculated very quickly, it'll prevent issues of them moving kind of at the same time and overlapping each other and stuff. But then I didn't realize that it is actually, in terms of the damage, this is absolutely built like a house of cards. Because it starts off the damage animation here. If it knows that it isn't actually going to be able to destroy the piece, it starts off and then it binds to the behavior to move it back. Now, can I refactor this at all? For one thing, it's very strange. The resist effect actually is not spawned by the recipient. It's actually spawned by the attacker, which is also kind of crazy when you think about it. I think because the attacker has to determine whether it's resisted or not, because the attacker has to know whether or not to take the piece or to play the slightly different attack animation. So that actually does make sense. It seems counterintuitive, but it does make sense. Because if you didn't know whether it was resisted, you might see a piece which is able to be taken, play the take piece animation. Move the white pieces first and the black ones afterwards. It's worse than that though. Even though all the white pieces are overlapping each other, I'm telling you, it's chaos. I mean, my God, why am I making real-time chess? It makes you wonder. But this is the life path that I've chosen, apparently. So here we are. So I can pretty much leave this as it is. I think it is a bit awkward. I could put this into the board, but why? Well, the reason would be to reduce the amount of code duplication. Because all of this could be in the board, if all the rest of it's in the board. There's no reason for this part to be taken care of by the board, and this part not to be. So I think it is actually a good idea. Okay, so in the board, we're gonna need something like this, attack piece. It's gonna have an attacker, a target, and it's going to do exactly this, which is tween the attacker back to its origin, check for any resistance, and then damage. That's all it needs to do. Gotta go, happy coding. Thank you, and to you as well. Have a good Friday evening. So yeah, I think that works. I think that works quite well. So we just got to move this into the board. And really, it could be changed. I don't really think it needs to be. It doesn't really need to be. So I'm literally gonna copy and paste. I'm gonna cut and paste all of this actually. So here we are, really moving in now. And I'm just gonna drop it here. Okay. So, hit me with that red syntax, baby. Let's go. Yeah, okay. Alright, so potentially this needs some revisions. So this is based on the naive assumption, which is that the piece is going to get taken. It might not be getting taken. So I think I'm going to leave that as it is. We're going to obviously move that. Okay. So we are asking if the tile is not free, then something's on the tile. There's another piece on that tile. And if that enemy piece, well, it might not be an enemy. I think it would make sense to automatically block the if it's not free and the piece is on the same team, then just don't move. So here we are. So now this is looking at whether the target piece is dodging or resisting, because we can't know that. We don't know whether or not to do the attack animation or the take animation until we know this, no matter what. So this, we're gonna have to check. Oops. Again, we're doing this in the board, which makes all of this actually a lot nicer. And so we know whether it dodges or resists. And now we know, well, we're going to check if this target is able to take a non-lethal attack, or whether it would be lethal. The hell is this? Shouldn't this be here? So do the attack animation if the enemy health is greater than the piece strength, or the piece's map shield is not 0. And not dodge or resist? Sorry, what are you talking? Wait, hold on, what? Oh, because if you are dodging... Ah, okay, I get it. So it was right. So all of this. So if it's resisting, literally nothing else matters. Doesn't matter about the shield, doesn't matter about the health. Just go back. If it's dodging, well, if it's dodging, then that invalidates all of this, because if it's dodging, it'll just run the take. Part. Yeah, so this makes sense. Ugh, spinning my head. And then it's just making the tween. So this, you've decided attack animation is right. Yeah. Alright, let me just think about this for a minute. Alright, what do you mean I actually have to do work? Do I really? No, I don't actually have to. Alright. Well, I don't think this is actually too bad. Because this is just the attack animation. I don't know if I want an early return here. Alright, actually gonna lock in for real this time. Not like 5 minutes ago when I said that I would and I didn't. So here we are, just looking for the attack destination, and I'm gonna, first of all, I'm gonna remove all of these. Wait a second, yeah. Little bits to make it all red. That's fine. So where it says global position, it actually means things like that you gotta look out for. Not sure why it's the behavior. Probably doesn't matter. I shouldn't be changing it, but no, I'll just leave it like that. So this should actually be the piece. So again, just because there's no red line doesn't mean that it's not gonna break. Attack piece, what the hell is that? Oh right, it's the so I'll leave this for now. So this should recapitulate the behavior. I mean, except for the fact that this is here. I don't know, I'll stick this here for a minute. This everything up to here should start to recapitulate the attacking animation, because this is what this is. It's the attacking animation. Yeah. So again, this should be pretty safe, because if it's dodging, it's not going to do the attack animation. It's going to dodge. It's going to move out of there. I can remove this. Actually, I can remove both of these, because now, actually, what we're saying here. So this is what we have. We have if there is a piece in this destination tile, try to take it. Well, if there is a piece in this destination tile, if it's on your team, don't take it, don't move there. Don't stand on your own team's tiles. Makes sense. If it's not on your team, see, can it take a non-lethal attack? If it can, start off the animation. Play the animation. Bind to the attack piece callback to move you back into position. Play that animation and finish there. And that'll be fine. However, if it dodges, do not play that animation. In fact, tell this other piece to get out of the way. It'll dodge. However, if it cannot take a non-lethal attack, and it is not dodging, that means it is about to be lethally attacked, because it's about to move into that tile. So that's when we get to this recipient piece, and we get its behavior, and we say, you're being taken. No reward source. Yeah, easy peasy. Yeah. And importantly, because we're not playing the attack animation, it carries on. We're going to be moving into this tile. So there we are. Let's connect that signal. And when it plays that animation, at the same time, we're going to be moving this like this. And that should be it. That should be it. Fully refactored. This should be functional, I believe, provided Yeah, it should be functional, I think. So, am I brave enough to test it? I do believe that I am. So actually, let me go back to the king behavior, because we've reduced this function down quite a lot. Now it is only this. That's all it is. And I think the minimum I need to do is just the pawn and the king for now. It might crash if I try moving this guy. So I better get out of here before that happens. Discard this for a minute. So this should work fine, I do believe. Nope, it crashes. Fascinating. Piece is null. Ah, because... Because? Why is that? Pawn. Uh-oh. That's interesting. Nothing is ever simple. The pawn does not actually use. The pawn does not concern himself with move to tile. In fact, he uses move. It randomly selects a move, then just gets straight into it. So all of this is going to be moved to tile. So I'm going to just delete this, I think. Yeah, I think so. Cool. And that should work, I do believe. I do believe so. No, this guy. Oh my god. I told you, if the board starts... Oh my god. If the board starts moving, I'm not going to be able to handle it. Did you... Oh. Alright, what can you do? So that isn't... Right, so as I was saying before, don't do that. That should be peace. Alright, my god. Thank god that was an easy fix. Okay, let's try that again. Get rid of this guy. Seems like it's working. Seems suspicious. It's still all fucked up though. It's slowing down. It's not working. Moving null piece? Why are you moving a null piece? Alright. Well, I'll leave it there for a minute. I'll leave it there for a minute. What I might do is... I need to make a queue. And this is really what I've been saying. I need to enforce a linear execution of these things. And all this is going to be, it's going to be something that I'm going to call the move queue, and it's going to be a list. And all it's going to be is a list. It's going to have a from, to, and a piece. That's it. And every frame, it's going to see if move, move, cannot type. Then, which one do I want to do? Pop front, pop back. If I append, which one gets done first? Hold on. Let me just find a little test. So if I have something like that, I do test.append I plus equals 1, I equals 0, then I do print test.pop front if test size equals 0. Okay, let me just see, what does that actually do? One of these will be working and the other one will not. That looks like it's not right. Let me compare it with what the other one does. No, that one does look like it's right. They both look fine. So actually I'm going to have to print the entire thing. Right, I'm stupid because what am I even doing? What am I even doing? I need to actually build this up a little bit. There we are. And now we are gonna do that. Okay. That looks like the opposite of what I want. I want to do pop front. So if I do this, it should start counting up from 1. There we go. So I want pop front. Alright, cool. Ooh, what am I doing? Yeah, shut up, dude. Alright. Rid of that. Yeah, so I want pop front is what I want. So if we go back into the board, there we are. And this is going to be a bunch of dictionaries, and we are going to do move piece, because this is enforcing an order. All it's going to be is move from, move to, and move piece. And we're going to have to check to see if the piece exists. If okay, that should be good. And that, I think, is all we actually need. So instead of now using this, we are going to do qmove. It's going to need all of these, and it's going to actually create a move. And that move is going to be this. There we are. And all we're going to do is append that to the move queue. So this will enforce a strict order. And that's all it needs to do. It doesn't need to do anything else. So all I have to do now is go here and do the same thing up here. Wait. No? Yeah, that's fine. Move to tile, I can keep that one, but it's just that move to tile is now using qmove instead. Move to tile, Q move. There we are. So that should do it, I do believe. And this, I don't really know if this is going to magically solve all of the bugs. It seems unlikely. I would not get my hopes up. If it did, it would be okay with me. Okay, that looks fine. Not quite. Okay, a little bug there. Moving from null tile. That's okay. Again, he gets stuck. He stops moving. What is going on? See, something is happening here. He's still going up to the corner. So essentially, we've made a much neater version of the same bugs, and I don't know why. I don't know why it's happening. I don't know why it's happening. I don't even know how to debug this. Oh my god. I need to fix this, but I don't know how. So, calculate preferred move. What is this doing? This will allow me to see maybe why it's always moving to the corner, because I think there's multiple concurrent things happening here. Okay, plenty of options. Chilling out, going around. He's got unbound from the board. Again, that's very strange. Why is that? Do I just get out, dispense with the grid entirely? We might be at that stage. I mean, it's integer arithmetic. It's not like we're going to be misaligning from the grid at any time. Oh no, how am I going to do this? Because it uses the grid to find out all of this stuff. I think I should just get rid of the grid. I think I should just transfer to using colliders, because I mean, God, what if I want like a big empty space in the middle of the board? The grid is a two-dimensional array. I'm gonna have to fill it in with filler spaces, or I could just use raycasts. And when you look at it, what are you gonna have? This is an atypical sized board, but an 8x8 board. You have 64 pieces. 64 pieces. You can deal with 64 pieces. Let's say 64 pieces. We have, I don't know, all of those looking in 8 directions. It's going to be less than 500 raycasts. In an absolute worst case scenario. An unrealistic scenario. And they're not all going to be firing in the same frame. That's 500. I mean, even if they are 500 raycasts, they're all moving 10 times a second, 5,000 raycasts a second. That would be pushing the upper limit, but that would be a totally unrealistic situation anyway. And I could find ways to cut down on the raycasts if I needed to. But you have to think as well, raycasts from a through a corner, I would have to be going to these yeah, so the reason I have this grid is because I wasn't sure the best way to go to a location and find if there's something there, because it stops me from iterating over every single piece. And there's just a lot of ways I could do it. I could have every piece hold on to its own coordinate, and then you just trust that the coordinate is right. This game is seriously broken. Yeah, alright, shut up. Look at this. Yeah, because I have a custom script for this guy. That's fine, I'll deal with that in a minute. I mean, yeah, why do I have this pieces map? Why don't I just change it into colliders and moving in fixed integer amounts? What is the concern that I'll get out of alignment from doing that? Is it the performance? Because I could just iterate through everything nearby and use the positions of the pieces. Maybe I don't want them to be strictly at integer locations all the time. I do want them to be on a continuum. And it's not easy when you have diagonal moves, because you move diagonally this way and you can clip both of those other tiles just slightly. This has become a much bigger endeavor than I realized. But I need to do something about it, because right now the code is so untenable. I don't see how it can go on. But it does have to, you know. I think I'm trying to think of any advantage. Well, yeah, the advantage of the pieces of the grid is that it should be an effective way to prevent the exact issue that I'm having now. In theory. That's why I have it. We're getting a lot of this kind of thing. Maybe because this is essentially redundant. I could make this non-fatal. The only time when a coordinate is actually being set to null is here, which is not happening, I think. Or here. That's it. That's the only time. I don't think the game is setting any to null. No, I don't think so. The pawn certainly shouldn't be. It's queuing up the move. It has a few references to the pieces map because it has to look to see where it's going. And it'll only try to move if it thinks that there's no piece there. But the king somehow gets unbound from the grid. And that's not good. We don't want that to happen. We do not want that to happen. I don't know why it's happening. Because the king, obviously the piece itself is not becoming null. What I'm wondering is, why did it happen recently? What did I change recently? Because I've been doing this, you know, adding a bit with piece editor particles. They aren't being spawned, of course. I changed the Z index for the buttons. None of this should affect it. None of that. No editor particles, that's fine. Maybe price tweaks. So around here it was all working fine, I'm pretty sure. I could verify that if I wanted to roll back my changes for a minute. I might end up having to do that. So let me see, which are the pieces? Okay, so I did make changes to the piece spawner. But these are only making changes to the spawn rules. I really didn't change anything else. Piece picker? What is that? No, that's a UI element. I did change something about the game script, but I don't think anything that would cause this behavior. I mean, I'm pretty sure it wouldn't. It should be exactly the same as it was before. I'm just declaring the types now. Level editor, that's not going to affect it. So what do we have? Layouts, yeah, upgrades. JSON. Maybe something here. I mean, this would be the most likely candidate for a commit which changed something bad. But I still don't think it actually did. None of these guys have editor particles. That only affects the berserker. That's fine. Piece picker. I've already looked through this one anyway, haven't I? Price tweaks. I highly doubt this has confused my UI, my AI. No, that's fine. That got commented. That's fine. I'm pretty sure it was working alright here. But I am specifying other stats now. I'm specifying dodge chance. I'm specifying resist. Resist and dodge should be 0, no matter what. I'm like 99% sure that they are gonna be 0. Okay, just pause and have a look first of all. So we have, I think we're in this game. Yeah, so here we are. Let's have a look. This, I believe, is, might be the king. X, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 7, yes, that's the king. So where is this occupying tile? That's right. Let's also have a look at the board. We have our pieces map is this. So at 4, 7, we have our king. Brilliant. And this takes us to the king. Okay. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That checks out. Alright, so let's unpause. See what happens. Okay, he's moved. A couple of times. Let's go back to our board. The pieces map. It's grown, which makes sense. We are now in 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5, 7. X is 5. There we go. So this should be our king. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Let's see him get into some combat. Okay. Something happened. So I saw 1, 2, 3. We have 4 pieces. 4 pieces here. So one of these, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This one is fine. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one is fine. 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. This one is fine. This one, which is the one which took part in the combat, is detached from the board. Okay. So we have 2, 3. One of these is going to be 2, 5. This one is detached from the board. Nothing unusual about it here. Nothing unusual. But after attacking, it stopped being attached to the board, and now I believe this will never move, ever. Pieces will be able to move through it, potentially. Ooh, hello. Is it back? 1. Ooh, wait. 2, 3. No, it's not back, but it was moving. So it's able to move. But I believe, yeah, it's moving from null tile. Again and again. And now this one appears to be stuck as well. Go back to the pieces map. We have 1, 2, 3. No, these are fine. This one is just stuck. So we have a piece at 2, 5. Is it 0, 1, 2? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 5. What? So this one has become reattached to the board, but this one has become detached. It's because we have 2, 7. That's this guy. He's back. It was this one, right? 2, 7. He's back. This one. Oh, wait. Hold on. 2, 7. The pieces map says 2, 7. Click on him. He's at 2, 5. So, something has gone wrong. Something has gone majorly wrong. Now let me just figure out which one is that. Is it this one? This one. Yeah, this guy. The pieces map says he's at 2.7. He says he's at 2.5. I couldn't even begin to fathom why. It must be to do with the way that I'm actually moving them in the board logic, but I don't see why this would have changed. It must be to do with the fact that they're moving themselves at the same time. This one was detached from the board. Now he's not. Now he's back on the board. Let me have a look what this one says, because this one is not in the pieces map. This guy, he is not in the pieces map. Not anywhere. 768. I don't see a 768. I see a 601. No 768. So he's not in the pieces map. However, the pieces map says this guy is here. I swear this is gonna end me. This is not good. This is not good. All right. Okay, so it's something is going on. Something is up. Because all it's doing, it's cueing the move. And here it is, as you'd expect. But somehow, the tile that it's on becomes null. I just don't understand. I just don't understand. I just do not understand. Because nobody's dodging. They do both have shield. But that shouldn't be enough to cause this. What is in the take behavior? So there we are. Just that, nothing much. That's alright too. Attack piece. I mean, nothing too crazy going on there. Something very strange is happening here. In theory, this makes sense to me. I think I could... This is a bit redundant. I could do that, and I could make this a non-breaking behavior. And let's see what happens then. Because really, you don't need this if you have the piece itself. You know damn well which piece it's going to be. And this way, I'm just saying, well, forget the place that it was before. Oh yeah. So I'll try it this way. I'll try it this way. I don't expect this to fix anything. Because really this only happens after it gets separated from the board. So here we are. Moving around. They're a bit out of step. This guy's not seeing them correctly. There we are, found that one. So again, moving null pieces. If I stick him over here, he can't. Oh, he can. Alright. Let's see what happens now. This is a bit weird that it works. Pretty damn weird that it's working. So that was just, I just had to make that a non-breaking behavior. Now everything works perfectly. Are you joking? I mean, surely you're joking. That makes no sense. But you can't argue with results. So I am going to... Somewhere I have this really annoying print statement. To get rid of that. Here. Okay. So I'm gonna... Let's test it in the dungeon world, which is where I got these worse errors. I do expect this is going to be much more buggy. Oh shit, actually. No, this is gonna not even... This is gonna crash in like a second because it's... Well, for one thing, look at this. This is stupid. Peace was null. Yeah, oh, yeah. No shit, because I haven't actually put that in. I believe all I have to do is replace this on, well, all of these. So, not that one. Move to tile. Yep. And now we'll do it for the bishop. Reducing a lot of code duplication here. The first time ever. I'll leave checkers for a minute. I have to do that one separately. This is the first time ever that I've actually done good programming practice. Do you know, this is the effect of having, like, good programmers in the chat. Like, Herrick, an actual employed web developer. He's so good at programming, people will pay him to do it. That's the kind of energy that we need around here. None of this monkeys on typewriters, GD script nonsense. Not that I have anything against monkeys or their typewriters, but I wouldn't trust them to make a game for me. Alright. So again, with the exception of checkers, which is not functional anymore. See, why does that happen? What the fuck is happening? This is unbelievably messed up. They're still overlapping each other. This shouldn't be possible. Peace was null. Why was peace null? We're going to need a little bit more information about this. First of all, this just makes no sense. Is it to do with how they're spawning, maybe? Because I did make changes here. No. Don't think so. Because they're being added from the dictionary. Add pieces from dict. This should also update the board. And I verified that they were all there to begin with. It's only when they start attacking each other. Ah, wait a second. No, it still doesn't make any sense. When it starts off, they both have... the board has all the pieces. And it's got no issues. All the pieces that you could ever possibly want. So, here we are. Here we are. We have our pieces map. We should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. That's what we want. So, F7. Can I not do it from the... Jeez, alright. It just doesn't... It's not quite adding up. They're all desynced again. Instantly. That shouldn't be causing an issue because it doesn't get actually done. It doesn't get added. That isn't going to cause an issue. The position is right because we know exactly where the piece is being placed. And we do know where it's being placed. It's being placed in the correct location. Question, is it only combat or is it something else? Assign piece to map. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's fine. Again, that's what we want, and this is being run, and that works perfectly. And then we actually move the piece, and we go here, and we have a look. And if it's null, or if it's not in the pieces map, that's good. In any other situation, that means the tile is not free. So this is setting the target to piece and the from to null. That makes sense. Doesn't that make sense? This I don't think is getting run, except in very niche circumstances. I already had a look at the take behavior. That really hardly does anything. I don't know. Because the global position of the piece is... that's able to move. Nothing should really be relying on that. It should be looking at the piece's map. It emits the signal that says move happened. And again, what I already saw, I already looked. It emits the signal, it's connected in the pieces, but none of these really do anything with that information. So it's not an issue here. I mean, this seems like it would be robust, and it was working completely fine. Unless multiple of these can run at the exact same time, and one of them sets the pieces map. Let me just see. It can give me a lot of results, but well, that's way too many results. Yeah, so that's fine. fine. All that's fine. That's fine. Okay. Not sure what that is, but that shouldn't be a problem. Oh, hold on. Hello. Damn it. Damn it. Same thing happened again. So this might be something that we're actually not properly setting the new systems. They might not actually be using the queue. That might be something actually. Let me just have a look through here. Yeah, that's fine. Absolutely fine, because it's not assigning anywhere. Yeah, not skipping the queue either. Alright, let's actually go have a look at that. Because I think these guys could be skipping the queue, like this one is. I think I should be a bit careful. I should make sure that I'm not overwriting anything that I shouldn't be. This is the issue with code duplication, is that you get stuff like this, and it becomes much more difficult to debug it. About half of these already work as intended, and about half of them don't. Okay, so let's try it again, now that they all, I believe, go through the queuing system. Still doesn't seem... Moving from null tile, piece was null. How is that possible? That shouldn't be possible. Unless it was here. I need to get the board to print out more pieces, more information about when this happens. Well, how can I do that? Because of the fact that the piece is null. Okay. Elite not found. That's actually fine. I'm not worried about that. Move piece from to. This is the issue. Moving from null tile. Could it be when a piece is taken? That when a piece is actually taken, that it's... It could be. Let me have a look. So if we go to the pawn behavior, we go to take. We have animation player destroy. We go to the chess the base. We go to destroy. We have a look here, and we say the occupying tile becomes null. Now, is this actually a new behavior? It could be. I was doing something with this not too long ago. So it could be. But this makes perfect sense, because if it made it this far, there's nothing that's going to prevent it from deleting itself in a second. Aha! But if it's been taken... Alright, now we're on to something. So I want to check to see if this if it's equals to self, because if it is, do that. Else don't. Otherwise, don't do anything. Because if it's not occupying its own tile, if something else is occupying its tile, that's probably the piece that took it in the first place, and that one is being set to null. We might have just cracked it. Okay, fucked up my save. Let me Alright, I'm going to be so pleased if this is it. I think that actually could be it. That would cause a problem anyway, at some point. It might not be all of the bugs. I think it'll be some of them. So I don't know what actually happened there because it was too fast. Let me try again. See, we get a lot of things like this. Pieces get taken. Look at that. So, no, it's not the only issue. Not the only issue at all. Lots of moving from null tile, things like that. Okay. I was hoping that was going to be a little bit better, but alright. Piece destroyed. What's happening in here? So this is in the game. That's nothing. Inventory. No. It's emitting the signal. No, okay. I was hoping that was going to be it. I do want this behavior anyway. Only set it to null if it is self. That makes sense. Okay. So all behavior does is run take. And all take does is play this animation, which ends up in running destroy. That's all. Dodging, I could imagine, would also produce an error. But I mean, I hope not. Should I set this one to Q as well? I think I should. That means it'll attack as well. It's probably not an issue with dodging. So again, the moving flag doesn't really seem to do anything. So I don't think that's going to be the issue. I don't... I don't see how this is ever going to happen. Maybe if it was dodging, it could happen. It's never moving from an... Oh, it actually is. Sometimes. So this means the occupying tile that it thinks it has is not the occupying tile that it is actually occupying. So this is the adding it. That's fine. Yep, that's fine. Rook behavior. I don't think it is actually assigning it. It is in the checkers, that's fine. That's fine. In the summon, it has to spawn something. So the only thing that's modifying the occupying tile is the board or when it's being destroyed. And to my knowledge, the occupying tile is more accurate than the pieces map. So it's definitely the board that's getting confused. So this part is fine. This is the part that's where it's getting confused. Is it possible for it to be moving to an identical location? Hold on. Wait, no, that doesn't make sense. Nothing. It shouldn't be changing the occupying tile here. It shouldn't be moving the 2 tile. It shouldn't be editing the tile of origin. Everything is the same. It's just damaging the enemy. So it does make sense to have an early return here. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense why it was working and then it stopped. Getting to the point, I might end up having to revert to an earlier commit and see when this error started. That would probably give me a lot of information, so I'm going to do that. So board refactor bugs in capital letters, because you know that this is messed up. So I'm going to quit for a minute, and I'm going to take we're going to revert to this one, because I think this one was functional. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure this one was the last one that was working fine. Jeez, come on. 99% sure. Let's have a look. I would not call that working fine. What is happening? What is happening? What is that? That's also bad. Elite ID not found. Well, that's okay. What is it that's going... I'm trying to make sure I don't make any difference changes here. So this is fine. This is just spawning. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. That's not an issue. It should only be playing for the enemies. No, actually, hold on. Do these guys have the elite particles? Alright, we're gonna go way back. Because that's a separate bug. We're gonna go way back to... I don't know. Here. Yes, you can see this is where I had tried to fix the bug. So it's actually never been working. I'm finding out. I've only actually realized this game has never actually been functional. But this is as far back as I can go with this version of Godot. But I don't think it was as bad as it's seeming. No, hold on. 'Cause it is seeming quite dire at the moment. Okay, so let's see if this works. Okay, it actually does seem better. It actually does seem better here. However, I went back a very long way, so I am not sure what happened in the meantime. This is what I wanted it to be like. This is before I did this. Not that this would really make a huge issue. So, okay, one more test. Because it's been fairly obvious each time I start it up if it's broken or not. But I'm going to test it one more time. 3 tests. Yeah, okay. And it's not spamming out with errors. So this commit works. Only thing to do now is to, well, go back up. So let's see, this was Sunday, so this is how the game was for quite a while. I left it here for about a month. 2 months. 3 months. Well, not quite 3 months, like 2.5 months. And we'll see if it actually is working here. Because if it's working here, that means it was something that I did in the last week that broke it. And again, this is really good PR for having version control. Let's see. Alright, yeah. Right, couldn't quite tell. Moving very fast. God, it moves so fast I can't see anything. But I don't see any stacking, I don't see any null pieces, so I'm going to say that one works, because I didn't notice this bug. So we are going to have to just go, I think, this one was a bit messed up. Let's have a look at this one. We're doing a binary search. Alright, so this will be interesting to know. So you can see in the console as well, it spams out with null pieces and stuff like that, so bit sus. I think it's okay. I have to so I think this one actually works as well, to be honest. It looks okay. It looks fine. So I'm going to call that one successful. This would be interesting to know. So I just say bug fix here. Not a clue if that's actually... 'cause I didn't quite understand why this bug was happening. It was very sudden. So it might have been this commit that I broke something. Don't really see how. But it's possible because this was dealing with the combat system. And it appears that it's linked somehow to the combat system. So it could be this commit. We'll find out. Find out. Okay, there we are. Now, here we are, the moment of truth. Don't see any overlapping. I mean, it's a bit sort of messed up. But I don't see overlapping. So I'm going to go one commit ahead. I don't see how it could possibly be this one. But I do have to check. Because it could be. I'm pretty sure it was messed up in this world gen one. But again, this is just world generation. So this has got to be the one where it's broken, right? It wouldn't make any sense otherwise. Because it is very obvious when it's broken. You can see it spamming out the console with null piece and stuff like that. Okay. This one looks okay. This one looks okay as well. So maybe this one was actually fine. I don't see how this one could have messed anything up. This one does have integer speeds. Maybe. But I don't think it's the speed thing. I do think that's an issue, but I don't think it's this issue, you know. Well, this is fine. This is fine, yeah. No errors. So that one, this one might actually be fine. This one, do I even bother? I've been doing it this way. I had better. I had absolutely better do it this way. So I'm going to check out this one. Again, just thank God that I have Git enabled, because if I didn't, I would be in so much, I would have so much of a problem here. I would be downright in trouble. Let's just keep going. Yeah, that sounds fine. It is a bit messy, the way they just kind of disappear and stuff, but... So this one's fine. This one's fine as well. So, again, we're just going bit by bit. Tweaks. What does that mean? What does tweaks mean? It's gotta be in the level editing stuff I did, because I would have noticed this issue. It's a massive issue. I would have noticed that. If it was multiple days ago, I would have noticed it. It must be recent. I mean, as I'm finding out by the fact that it works in all of these older builds, but not mine. I know it looks like I'm getting absolutely wrecked, but this save file is actually before I added certain upgrades, and so I'm basically I'm very underpowered for the dungeon. I just have a number of pieces, which is all I really need anyway. I just need to see what it's like to have a number of pieces. That hold on. No, that's fine. Test that one more time, because it did look a bit suspicious, but I think it is actually okay. See, I feel like these pieces are getting taken at random. The overlapping is a really easy way to see it. Let me just take a look at that. Again, one of the benefits of actually live streaming as well is to have a record of this. So I am just going to go back in time 2 seconds. I know I've done this a few times, and it's always come up pretty much fine, but it was that wall of pawns. Come on. Yeah. One of my pieces just got taken for nothing. And I think it was actually my own piece that took it. And again, that's not the issue that I'm chasing down right now. But it is an issue. Obviously, you can't have that. And to be honest, that is an issue that I believe would be fixed by... What are you on about? Discard. Discard. That would be fixed by the queuing system, I believe. I mean, I just think that should fix everything. How is it gonna... I did also add extra behavior for checking if you're trying to squash an ally piece, but... Alright, just... This is ridiculous. Okay, that looks fine. So this is the first commit that I had, the level editor. Alright, I mean, it is hard to tell, but that looked alright. Layouts, JSON. I find it hard to believe that this one could have caused that issue, but You never know. Just keep going. Just keep on going. Hello. Ha! Okay. So I actually can't test this one. I'm pretty sure it would be one of the later ones anyway. I could even go right back. I mean... See, look at this. If I check out this one. This one could have conceivably resulted in bugs. But we just have to find out if it'll even spawn me a layout. Oh, it does. Aha! Hold on. Alright, okay. So, here it is, somewhere. Could have been this one. Could have been this one, but I don't think so. I knew it. It is this one. I mean, it's gotta be, right? It's gotta be. Alright, let's, Ish. It's gotta be that one. I'm just gonna comment out that line. Because it was, what was I doing before? I don't even remember why I did that. Yeah, discard. Okay. I don't remember why I even did that. To be honest. So, back at the present day, present time. I am sitting on a pair of scissors for some reason. That's not safe. We are going to be looking back in chess piece base in this destroy function, and I'm telling you what, I'm just going to do that. I'm not having it. No more messing with the pieces map. It's destroying the game. Of course, we need to get our test file in here. There we are. Please, for the love of God. That might have been it. That might have been it. No, it wasn't. It was not. It was not. It was not. I'm not sure what else it could be, but I don't see any of the overlapping anymore. We still get moving from null tile. It should never be moving from a null tile. However, because of the queuing system, it is more possible for that to happen. Because you can have a piece which is queued to move, but doesn't. So maybe I actually shouldn't have it. I should produce even more space. I should have move timer, move interval, and this is gonna be fast. And all we're gonna do is we're gonna say move timer if that is bigger than the interval, then do that, and subtract the interval. Now this will sort of make it a bit blockier. It'll prevent them from running down so much. Again, it seems like a hack. It seems like something is being overlooked, but logically, I just cannot shake the feeling that it makes sense. Even though on the screen you can see weird stuff is happening. Now, I'm going to be honest, that looks a lot nicer. It really does look nicer. We still have issues moving from null tiles, but it does look a lot nicer. This guy is frozen. Uh-oh. We have these sort of sinkhole tiles where anything that moves into them gets stuck. And you can move into them, but then the piece that was there is able to move out. I do like this. Gonna commit that. Move intervals, bugs unfixed. Oh, why am I on the... Why am I on detached head? What are you talking about? Push to master, please. How do I reattach my head? Okay. Cool, do that. Oh, I need to actually check out the badge. There we go. So, move intervals, bugs unfixed. Alright. Oh, this isn't good. I can't believe I'm still going. It's literally been hours. How long until I get to rest? Never, apparently. Alright, I'm not gonna complain too much. Okay. Let's just if pieces map from this piece, because maybe there's something else. I'm really running out of ideas. I might have to take a break and just look at this tomorrow, because I couldn't fathom why this is happening. Okay, looks alright. Hold on, was that it? Could that have been it? We have some issues. But I didn't see any moving from null pieces. I don't see any overlapping. See my king getting destroyed. I think we're all right. I think we're good. I think we did it. Sort of. I mean, it's still not perfect. Can't believe it was just that. It's still not perfect. By a long shot. There's still issues I'd like to iron out. Getting taken in the middle of an attack animation, for instance, looks quite messy. And moving while you're being attacked looks quite messy. Like that. It looks a bit messy. And he got stuck, so it's definitely not moving from unoccupied place. So he's managed to move here without informing the piece map that he's moving here. How does one do that? Could have been an issue with dodge, to be honest. Oh, okay. We're on the trail. So first of all, just don't do that. Q move self. Yeah, great. I might want to do something like suppress attack. True. So I'll add yeah, I'll have to do it this way. An extra bit. Q move suppress attack. False. And that one I can put that as a default. So if suppress attack print debug tried to move into tile into non-free tile but attack suppressed, then return. There we are. And again up here we do move suppress attack. So it's good to know that we can get stuck in sort of sinkhole tiles. That's something important to remember, if you don't want it to happen. So one more time, let's have a look. This looks a bit weird. You got leapfrogged there. Broadly, I want to say this is okay. It is displeasing to me that it's as buggy as it is. I don't want him to get leapfrogged, but it's a bit unavoidable. Let's try it again. I want to get, yeah, exactly the one I was looking for. Yep, it's okay. Dodging all over the place, not an issue. Brilliant, okay. Okay. Sinkhole spot fixes. A little bit of that, but because of the queuing system, that's allowed. That's inevitable. Alright, good God. Well, you know, it still needs work. It really does need work. It's a very, very messy, very busy gameplay here. It's everything and everything everywhere. Everything's moving at once. Even I've been looking at this game so much, I can hardly even distinguish what's going on. Beginners are going to have no idea. Something idea how it gave to me is that the black pieces and the white pieces can move at different times. That might be an okay idea. No, I won't do that, because at this point it's you won't have any benefit from having fast pieces or slow pieces. I can't see it actually failing. I think it's just far too fast, It's very, very fast. It needs to slow down. It needs to be slowed down. That'll be the next thing I do, I think. It needs to be slowed way down. It is fun to have it look very snappy, you know? But visually, it's impossible to resolve what's actually happening. It needs to be a lot slower. All of these tweens need to be slower. The moves themselves need to be slower. I need some kind of global time modification. That's what I need to do. I need to slow the game down. Okay. Well, I'll keep that in mind. I'm heading off because it's been almost 3 hours. Got a lot done now. I don't really expect anybody at this point to be still watching, but if you have done, because I know some people watch the archives. Thank you for watching, and I might be back again. I might be. You cannot prove otherwise that I will not be back again. I might be back again. It could happen. Anyway, goodbye.